fine. I think, sir, we should start now.
Okay.
So hopefully, few more students should join in some time,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So good evening, one and all, and respected Amit, sir. Right. It's a great pleasure and honor that we are having Mr. Mittal for today's expert session. Right, Mr. Amit Mittal has almost more than 25 years of vast experience in managing business as a heads of manufacturing for some of the well-known home furnishing brands and a few years as an consultant and a business coach, which helps business to grow in their areas. Mr. Mittal is basically a commerce graduate and also he did his course on textile technology from the NIFT. And after that, he started his career in the textile industry. And he has also worked with the Sarita Handa as a factory manager and Himmat Singh Seed Limited as an assistant general manager, which was a deal into a luxury brand of home furnishing. He also held the position as a vice president operations for text trade and Indocount industry. And in between, Mr. Amit started his management consulting for almost 1.5 years, which helped companies like Jaipur Rugs and Gartreds to align their manufacturing, outsourcing, and their supply chain management. Mr. Mittal also served as the Senior Vice President for Global Sourcing for multiple categories of the product servicing fry brands, two in the USA, one in the UK, and two in India. And he was also business head for the bedding division for a period of time. And after with this vast experience into textile home furnishing business. He did his global executive MBA from world's number one program in the world, which alliance of three very well-renowned business schools like Stern, New York University, New York, London School of Economics and Political Science, London, and HEC School of Business, Paris. Right, and after that, Mr. Amit returned to consulting as his second stint this year as a managing partner with Madasky Consulting, which mainly helps manufacturing companies to improve their plant performance and the adoption for automation. And apart from this, one more feather in his cap that he has recently become a franchisee owner and a partner of world's number one business coaching company, Action Coach. And Action Coach has more than 1,000 offices across 32 countries and works on the three business key elements, that is the time, team, and the money, delivering for a massive growth in the business. Right, so with this brief introduction of Mr. Mittal and one more addition, I on a personal note, I just would like to add that he is also very cycling enthusiast other than his professional and academic life. So with this brief note, now I would like to invite Mr. Mittal to deliver his session on inventory management. Right. Thank you. And now, Amit sir, it is over to you.
Thank you, Aarti ma'am, for your kind words. I think I'm flattered, like a lot of things that you have added. So I can say I'm a small person at the moment, and I like to be connected with people, and that is how I'm connected to NIFT. Almost like I would say now 10, 12 years or more.
Yes, sir, very much. Just for students' information, that sir was also a senior professor or the adjunct professor with NIFT for a 1 year's period of time during year of 2009 or 10. And he is also regularly comes for their graduation or the research project juries also. So he's quite uh, associated with NIFT for a quite long period of time. Yes, sir.
Okay. So good evening. Welcome, friends. I think this is this is a good platform for me to interact and then exchange what is happening in the industry and what challenges industry faces and how you can groom yourself to become a better industry person when you go into the industry, so you have a little bit of knowledge and some kind of insights about the industry, what industry is happening in the industry. uh, I would like to start with my presentation. I have multiple screens, so maybe you will see my eyes are not on the camera every time, so that you have to just bear with me for that, because it is how the technology is like that. I would always like to be on a one-on-one session. That is always good, like a group session rather than on a webcam. But now the technology is evolved and everybody is sitting in their home and doing the work. It's been a
Yeah,
long day.
so
It's been a long day for you guys, and I think you'll have to bear with me for almost 2 hours now. And I would like you to be interactive. This will help you to like, I will also, because if you were present physically in front of me, then I could sense and gauge that what, whether you are actually learning something from what I'm sharing or not. But in current scenario, I think it will be better that you just keep messaging me on a chat, give your responses, yes, no, any kind of comments or anything that you have to say about it. So then I will definitely answer those questions if you have, or even otherwise interaction basis. Let me start with it. So basically, today's topic is fundamentals of managing inventory. Uh, I'm sure you guys go through the inventory as one of your term, and then you have a lot of information in terms of how to manage inventory in the business. But what happens, like when it comes to practical aspect of inventory, I think the reality is different in the companies. So even though book knowledge is required, but definitely there are a lot of challenges that the companies faces when actually implementing the best scenarios mentioned uh, in the books in the industry. So let me go ahead with this. 1 minute. So I think ma'am has already mentioned about my background. I'm 25 years in business now, and I've been delivering growth to the businesses. I've traveled around the world, almost I would say around 50 countries. I have managed vendors in, I would say, 10, 12 countries, and otherwise customers in 58 countries. That, and last position which I held, I was traveling almost like 80% of my time. So it was, and mostly out of India, and it was crazy traveling. Only I think COVID saved me, actually, if you ask me, because that was really tough time for me. And I can tell you, one flight I took was 72 hours, wherein I started from China to India, and then same night I went to New York, and then next 2 days I was traveling within USA and came back to India. So it was like, that was the time I decided that I would like to do something of my own rather than doing something for the companies. So it's not easy, I can tell you. People think that traveling is good, but I would say traveling uh, long distances is not, like a crazy person is, it's not good. It's not good for your health. Anyway, one thing I would like to add, that I am on a mission to create wealth and grow 20,000 businesses in next 20 years. And if I take five, on an average, 5 employees per business, 100,000 lives is what I am aiming at. That will be impacted some or the other way through my initiative. So this is a big thing that I have taken on my shoulder, and I'm hoping that I will be definitely achieving this in next 20 years. Okay, let me start. See, it is important for you to, whatever I am saying, it is important that you take it in a positive way. See, a lot of things you might know about it, but it is important that when I'm explaining you something, it is you accept it like I know about it, but also you you don't think that I know that I should not focus on it. It is important that you think that isn't that interesting. Does it make sense? Can I get yes or no from you?
Yes, sir.
Chat
Yes, sir.
box. Use the chat box. I think it will be good.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The moment you open your mind to learn new things, it helps you. It helps. It basically gets registered into your mind. And if you think that I know the 50-70% of your brain doesn't even concentrate on that, it is important that you focus on this for next 1.5 hour approximately. Um, any idea on what is perturbation? Can you Google search and let me know what is perturbation? Type in the meaning of perturbation. Are you doing it or should I tell you? See, perturbation is basically the anxiety, basically the uneasiness that you have in you. What I'll give you the example of boiling water. Imagine you can see the boiling water. It's at 99 degree. There's no steam, and at 100 degree the steam starts coming out. And over here with you, what happens when we put pressure on you, be the teachers or be the college or be the exam pressure or be any kind of a pressure, you release your emotions, and emotions come out in terms of fear, anger. Am I right in saying that it happens with you? So it is important that you need to come out of emotions, and then basically when you start with positive note and then there's a perturbation or fear and uncertainty about anything, it is important that you either you break through and be successful, or you quit and be failure. Like you if you have a fear in your mind before you give the exam, then it will impact your exam. Similarly, if you're doing any kind of a work, it is important that you actually think that it is a part of your emotions and you break through and become successful in that, rather than quitting and become failure in that. Does it make sense? Yes, no? Chat box. Guys,
Yes, sir.
you need to be interactive. I think please use your chat box. Otherwise, I'll not know that whether you are actually with me or doing something else. Okay, thank you. Just please be interactive. I think that's more important. One more important thing, I think a lot of times it happens, we function at below the point. When I say we function below the point, is basically the point which is a point of power. We are actually in a stage wherein we are blaming people. We are taking out excuses, and we are in a denial mode. We think that I don't know anything about it. When you actually do that, you stop taking ownership, responsibility, and accountability. And it is important as a human being that, or as if you want to be successful, it is important for you to take ownership, responsibility, and accountability. Be it your personal life, be it your education, or be any kind of a thing that you are doing, it is important that you take ownership. Moment you start taking ownership, you actually becomes powerful. And you will understand and see in your life, when you start taking ownership and responsibility, be it your exams, like I will ensure that I will complete my assignment on time. I will ensure that I will come in a flying colors. I will be the best student in the class, or I will be the best brother among my cousins and all. The kind of a thing, the best son, best son of the family kind of a thing. So any kind of a thing, when you decide about it in your mind, it will automatically lead you to that destination. Does it make sense? I'm actually getting you to start thinking and learning. That is the most important thing. So I'm just warming you up a little. Does it make sense or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it's important that you start taking ownership, responsibility, and accountability, and be powerful. And don't go below the power point of power, which is blame, excuse, and denial. Right? Don't pass the buck to the other person, and it will not lead you anywhere. Okay. Now it is important that you participate 100%. When you participate 100%, you get 100%. Why did I ask you to participate in terms of writing on a chat box, or even you can say in the middle also about whatever you are feeling about? It is important because one moment you start participating, you actually start learning a lot of things. And once you start learning, it's a permanent thing in your mind, and it will not go away. If you keep quiet, don't interact, automatically things will go away from your mind. It's important that you start interacting and responding. So it's a way to actually learn new things. All right. Shall I move on? What do you understand by inventory? You can type in your answers. What is inventory? I'm sure you must be knowing about it, but I just wanted to check about it. I think you guys are you can write quickly on a chat box. Why don't you just, what is inventory? What do you mean by inventory in any company, be it manufacturing, being business or anything? No answers. Basically, inventory is a stock. Inventory or a stock is a goods or material that a business holds for an ultimate goal of resale. So something which is not for resale is not inventory, right? And so anything which is coming in a business for a resale, that is named as inventory. Now, the types of inventory, we have cycle inventory. Basically, it's an item you purchase from the supplier. It's WIP inventory. It's finished goods and the maintenance, repair, and operating things like spare parts and all that. So these are known as the cycle inventory. It doesn't sit for a long time. It comes and go. And then on the cycle inventory, there is a safety stock. So a lot of times it happens, say, for example, for a spare part, you would need a minimum spare part in the factory. Otherwise the machines may stop. Similarly, to run the factory in a proper, as per the plan, you need a minimum inventory as a safety stock, which each and every company actually have a safety stock levels mentioned for different items. And even for the finished goods, like certain customers want some safety stock to be stocks to be maintained in their warehouses so that the orders can be replenishment as quickly as possible. All right. In transition inventory is both inward and outward inventory. Basically, the inventory which is in transit, either it is either coming in or it is going out of the factory. Like a raw material or a supplier is sending some inventory that in transit, or something which is going out as a final product, or even for some kind of intermediary process that is being done outside. So that is the in-transit inventory. The fast delivery is right. Basically, fast delivery is the right approach. Sometimes inward option is a slow delivery. All right. Anticipation inventory is basically in anticipation of the big campaign. Say, for example, you have a sale coming in your business, or you must have seen Amazon sale or even the other platforms which they keep announcing the sale. So normally what happens, the people actually prepare for the sale and they keep the inventory with them for the sale according to the last forecast or their planning and other thing. So that is what the big event is like. That's example of a big event or a campaign. The timing is most important. There is no use of inventory reaching out to the warehouse after the event is over. So it is important that inventory is available in the warehouse for the quick dispatches moment that you receive the order. So that is what the timing is the most important thing in the anticipation inventory. The types of inventory, there is also a supplier customer consideration, like most happens when when you have a global supply chain and your customers and suppliers are scattered worldwide. That is the time actually you try and see that how quickly you can replenish the customer. I can give you an example, like for example, a Walmart store in USA may ask their supplier in India to have the inventory in USA warehouse and replenish the orders as they are placed in the USA. Are you getting it? Similarly, somebody from Delhi and is have the inventory sent to the warehouse closer to the customer's place so that it can be replenishment at the shortest possible time. So this is the example of supplier or customer consideration. Is inventory key to success? Any idea on that? Is it so? Is it like it is one of the element that is important for the success, because it actually fills orders, it satisfies the customer, and also creates income at the lowest amount of inventory. So if you have the higher inventory, then you may not earn that much because your cost of holding the inventory is high. That is why it is important that you have to take care of the inventory in a right way, so that or at a minimal level, so that your business can generate appropriate profit from that. Any idea on the inventory turn? What do you mean by inventory turns? One of you can unmute and talk about it. What is inventory turns? Whatever you know, may not be 100% perfect, but at least share what you know about it. Guys, you need to interact, otherwise I cannot see you. It's important. Any idea on inventory turns? Raw material consumed completely for finished goods maybe. Okay. Any other guess? Any other guess? Basically, inventory turns is number of times your inventory is actually rotating within the business. For example, if your sale is 100 and your inventory is your annual sale is 100 and your inventory holding inventory total inventory is 100, that means you have one turn per year. Is that clear? Similarly, if you have a sale of 100 but you have an inventory of 20, that means your inventory is turning 5 times in a year. Is it clear? You're getting it, what I'm trying to explain? So inventory turns is basically, this is in terms of value, not in terms of actually the stock. It is a cost of goods sold in rupee and the value of average inventory. And value of average inventory is basically beginning inventory and an ending inventory. When we say beginning inventory, any period that you are taking, maybe a beginning of a month, end of the month, beginning of a quarter or end of the quarter, or even the year also. And you add both the inventory, like say for example, in the beginning of the year you have 18 as your inventory, for example, and 22 as the end of the year. you add together, it becomes 40, divide by 2, it becomes 20. So your average inventory is 20. Is that clear? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, cost of goods sold is basically revenue minus cost of goods sold minus the expenses. So whatever sales that you're having, the total sales minus the cost of goods sold is the cost of material or the product that you have made and the expenses that you incurred on that in terms of labor and other things, not in terms of the items which normally are there in P&L. So these are not that expenses. These are expenses which are a part of your basically a gross profit items. Inventory holding cost is basically so it is important you should know that what is the inventory holding cost. When we say inventory holding cost is when the inventory is sitting in the warehouse or any other place, what is the cost of that inventory? It is not only the item cost. So like we say, for example, if we have 10 pieces of garment, so 10 pieces into 200 rupees is 2000 rupees inventory. That is just the first item over here, the cost of item. The second item is the storage cost, the cost of storing in a warehouse. So there must be a warehouse rental or a fixed cost. There must be the infrastructure in the warehouse. That is a cost. The people in the warehouse, that might be a cost. The people who are managing it, your systems and processes in terms of IT and all, infrastructure, power and all. So all that put together is your storage cost over there. Then the handling cost is something like when the material comes into the factory and it goes out to the distribution center, you have to load and unload it. So that is your handling cost. So you might either engage a people from inside the warehouse, or you will have outsiders people who will come and unload it and load it back into the dispatch vehicle. So this is the inventory holding cost. So there are taxes, insurance, and interest. So taxes is related to like a cost of item which is 200 rupees. There might be 10% or 15% of GST on that. The insurance is the warehouse insurance, and the interest is the interest of the fixed assets as well as interest on the inventory, the working capital. So that is the interest we are talking about over here. The cost of damage. So damage, when we say, like when you handle the product or when it is transit and arrives in your warehouse, you see some of the products have damaged. Maybe packaging has damaged, something has torn, something has happened. There might be some cases wherein your supplier has dispatched you 50 pieces, but actually you receive 48. So two have been stolen on the transit. So that might be an issue. Spoilage is something like you order a kind of a oil or a petrol or kind of a diesel for your genset, and that diesel, when you took it from the petrol pump, it is around 100 liters, but due to evaporation or spoilage, it is around 49.5 when it comes into the factory. So this is an example of spoilage. And ordering cost. Ordering cost is uh, uh, any idea on what is the ordering cost? I'm sure you must be aware of it. Anyone can just unmute and talk about it. What is the ordering cost?
I think invoice and all things, invoice and that will come under ordering cost.
This is at the inventory level. So when we say ordering cost is basically the cost which is incurred by the business when they are placing the order to the supplier. You getting it? See, it is when we say ordering cost, it is a paper, it is a computer, it's office cost, it's the person who's involved in actually ordering the thing. So, for example, I have a purchase manager, and he is ordering the multiple items in a month. At the end of the month, he actually orders either a value, for example, 1 crore of item, or a number of transactions that maybe around 50 POCs made in a month. So when we know the cost of that person, including the office cost and all, you divide it by the total cost of orders which is released, that is your ordering cost. Is it clear? So this is, see.
No, sir. Can you explain with example? It's not clear.
Yeah, okay, let me explain once again. See, in any company, you have a purchase manager, and purchase manager actually places a lot of orders during the month, right? So there is a cost of a purchase manager. There is a cost of like IT infrastructure that has been provided and other things. So when we say ordering cost is basically the person and the infrastructure cost put together. For example, the total cost is 100 for let me take it 1 lakh rupees for the purchasing for a month, and you have created 100 purchase orders. So your each purchase order, you have 1,000 as a ordering cost of that item of individual orders. Are you getting it now?
Yeah, sir. I
Okay.
can relate. Yeah.
Yeah, you can relate it. It's basically a purchasing. It's a cost incurred when we are purchasing it. So what happens normally? What I had seen in any industry, people just take item cost. People take taxes and interest sometimes, and they forget about storage cost. They forget about losses or damage, and even the ordering cost. Because this is important for you when you go into the industry and you actually have been asked to do the costing of a product. At that time, you should know it is not only the item which is the cost over there, it is actually the cost of holding the inventory, taxes, handling cost, storage, losses, the damage, theft. Maybe it normally losses, damage, theft is normally 0.5% to 1% people take, and an ordering cost. So now is it clear? So this is important. I think it's important you should write it down.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. The hidden cost of inventory. When we say hidden cost of inventory is something like a consumer electronics, a mobile, which is you have an Apple 11 and then you have an Apple 8. So obviously that pricing of Apple 8 after 2 months or 3 months will come down. Similarly, the fashion item, which is there in the trend now, but it may not be in trend after 6 months or 3 months, or a product like a sweater or a jacket for a winter may not be suitable for a summer season. So those kind of, and it actually devalues once the season goes away. That's why you can see the sale and all, so that there's no obsolescence of that. Is that clear? Okay. Next is the price decrease. Price decrease.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Price decrease. Anybody can give me an example of a price decrease? You can write it. What kind of?
Yes, sir. In festive season, when we buy something, and after that festive season, their cost will decrease, right? And in the starting of any festive season, like simply in Diwali, the all the lighting thing will be in a huge price. But once the Diwali will over, the price will decrease.
Right. I will take. Thank you. I will take the second example, because the price of a product which is at the moment, which is relevant in the market now, may not be relevant in future. So it can be raw material. Say for example, a cotton price today, the cotton is for 22,000, for example, and the price and you have a stock in your warehouse, and then the prices of cotton goes down by, say for example, it becomes 21,000. So you actually lost 1,000 per ton of a cotton price. And the live example is a petrol price. Now petrol, you have seen every day there's a new price. If the price is going down, the petrol pump guy is losing the money. If price is going up, they are gaining the money. Is that clear now?
Yes.
Price decrease example is clear now. The
Yeah,
next
yeah,
is
yeah.
Yeah. Next is the cost of quality. The cost of quality, when we say, it's basically the rework, the customer return, or even the scrap which is generated in the factory. So that's a cost of qualities. When we say scrap, is basically, it can be a rejection. What we normally take as a percentage, that this will be a percentage rejection in my product. So there is a rejection which is already there in your marker, but this rejection is something like when you made a product, and after cutting, the rejection happens. That also is taken as a percentage. Rework is something like, for example, a customer in factory, it happens like you made something and you have to alter that. That is a rework. In e-commerce, it happens that customer has bought something, a shirt, and he opened it, and he just tried it, and he could not pack it properly, and the customer has returned that product. So that is the product. It goes into a special cell in the e-commerce warehouse, wherein they repack it properly and make it good. Either make it good for resale, or they send it back to the supplier, so that they can pack it, or they can discard it. Is it clear now? Cost of quality.
Yeah, sir.
Okay. So the one big question: how much is the right inventory to have? So there is no right answer to that. It is based. You have to, because there are a lot of reasons for having the inventory, and there are a lot of reasons for not having the inventory. So you need to have the right balance of having and not having the inventory. See, inventory, as I explained, it is a cost. It's basically, moment inventory comes in, you need to either pay to the supplier, or it is accrued for payment. Accrued for payment is like, you'll have to pay it in future. Apart of that, your warehouse, you incur a lot of cost in handling and other things. Everything costs, it's a money for that. So it is important, for you to understand that inventory is a money. It is, if you understand that, and if you connect that to the money, that if you see one piece lying somewhere and it is not sold for 2 years, that means that product has not sold, and the cost of that product, for example, is 200 rupees, and your interest cost, for example, is 10%, then you actually end up losing 40 rupees in that product, because of the interest, just for the interest, not other inventory holding cost. I had explained to you that there are a number of elements. Just in that, you have lost cost. So that is why it is important that people try to dispose inventory as quickly as possible. They may not order enough of inventory, so that at least they don't have that kind of a problem. But if inventory is sitting with you, it is a money. Is it clear? It is important. The moment you start thinking like that, so you will realize that you start, when you go into the factory, and then you see the inventory, and you see the analysis of the inventory, you realize that there are a lot of things that are lying in the factory which were not required in the factory at that point in time. Okay. What is the inventory holding cost? It's basically cost of capital, interest associated, opportunity, storage, space. I explained everything to you about this. Holding time and all, risk, damage, spoil, obsolete and all. Now, valid reasons for, so there are two things. Either the inventory, when you're calling in your factory, either it is for a right reason, or there might be a reason which is not right for that inventory, or the timing was not correct. So valid reasons for inventory is basically, you may have loss of sale due to stock out situation. So in case the inventory is there in your warehouse, not there in the warehouse, you may not be able to service the customer who has placed an order for the product. That is one thing. Maybe if it is a raw material, you may not be able to make a product out of that raw material to service the customer. That can also be a situation. So it is important. That is a valid reason that you need to have an inventory to run your factory and to service to the customer. Second is more inventory can reduce your transportation cost. So what happens? A lot of people actually try to club the ordering. They send 100 pieces together, or they say, okay, 100 pieces, I will incur 5 rupees per piece as a transport cost. Okay, so if send 100 pieces, it is 50 rupees transport cost. But the supplier says, sir, if you order me 200, your transport cost will still remain 50 rupees. So that is the call that you need to take at that time, whether I order 200 and save 50 rupees, or order it again at a next interval. If you order it again, what is it that will help you to understand that when to order? Like how do you know that whether you need to save the transport cost or hold the inventory? Any idea on that? Is my question clear to you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I have one doubt. Can I ask?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. While I was in industry, they are talking about they bring more inventory because some country has some policy related to because China you can buy some product from some country for once or twice in a year. So because they have to buy raw material for a trusted customer, so they buy in a huge amount. So is that the same thing as a transportation cost or policy is also involved, right?
Yeah,
Sometime
I
policy.
think Diksha, you are right, because when it comes to overseas purchase, when you're importing something, so there are minimum which are required to be purchased, because you need to uh, minimize your cost of transport per piece. You average it out. That is why you, instead of I can give you an example. If you're getting a 20 feet container from China versus a 40 feet container, your cost of transport doesn't become double. So your
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
cost of transport for 20 feet container from China is, for example, is for $800, and if
Mm-hmm.
you're getting a 40 feet container, it will be $1,200. So it is
Mm-hmm.
not increasing double. It is not doubling. It's basically proportionately increasing, and this actually difference reduces quite a bit when it comes to longer distance shipments.
Mm-hmm.
Similarly, even in if you are sitting in Bhiwandi and you are getting a shipment from Delhi,
Mm-hmm.
and you may club multiple things along with that to save your transport cost. All right.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Uh, uh, Third point is to meet the customer expectation. What happens, like customers tells you that I can give you a live example. Uh, Walmart, for example, if you're servicing a customer like Walmart, so they place order every week, and when they're placing order, it's a replenishment order. The moment they place order, they would need a that order to be delivered in maybe around 30 to 45 days, whatever is your agreement with them. Now, if you don't have a safety stock for that order, you will actually lose the order, because you will not be able to service if you're going to order the fabric, which will take 45 days, and then get it dyed and then get it stitched. So all put together, it will take minimum around 60 to 90 days. So that much time customer may not have. So what happens in this case? Customer actually tells you, this is my forecast for next 3 months, and accordingly you build up an inventory for that, so that you don't default on any of the delivery. Does it make sense?
Absolutely, sir. Yeah.
Uh, I would request others also to interact. I think I'm not getting, or I would ask everybody to put on their switch on their cameras. Will that help? At least I can see your faces whether you are able to understand or not. The second point is spare parts from emergency service needs. So it is important again, like your machine may break down, and the cost of spare part versus the cost of not manufacturing for a lead time for the spare part will cost you a lot. So it is important that you have some critical spare parts in your stock. That is also a part of an inventory. And in case you want to give the excellent service to the customer, like I gave you the example of Walmart, where other competitors are saying we will deliver in 45 days, and you stock a little more, and then you tell them, okay, we will deliver in 20 days to you. So Walmart may say, okay, I will give you maybe 2% extra as a upcharge for the excellent service that you are giving. So it's a kind of a, a way to attract a customer and to keep the customer happy about it. Next is avoiding disrupting operations. So avoiding disrupting operations is again like if you don't have a stock, and say when you're manufacturing a shirt, you may need maybe around 20 different items to be finally packed into a product. It can be a poly bag, it can be a carton, stiffener, stickers, labels, thread, and etc. So it may happen that you might skip something which is normal in the industry, and if that happens, the complete line will create a problem. So it's important that you have some kind of a minimum stock before you start the production. So that this is what this point says about the avoiding disrupting operations. And even prevent rush orders like Walmart. I told you, they want rush order is also, for example, you have serviced a big bazaar for a certain item, and they quickly sold off that item, and now you need to service it quickly. So that might be a reason they say don't make the product, but you keep the fabric ready with you, and moment you get the order, immediately you stitch it and send it to us in next 15-20 days. So this is a kind of a planning that is being done to have a raw material in place for the rush orders. But obviously, when you do this, you have to also take risk into consideration. Maybe they may not place the order, the second or third order. So that also risk is attached to that. So you need to have a right contract with your customers so that you don't end up losing money on that. Fifth point is related to safety stock. Safety stock like industry shortage or price increase. So industry shortage is, I can tell you example of industry shortage is, for example, there is a fire in a big, I don't know whether you know about the Textile factory, Textile fiber. So Textile fiber, the only manufacturer in the world, the factory got burnt last year, I suppose. And the entire world supply chain was disrupted of Textile fiber. So that I would say that it's an industrial shortage kind of a thing. And price increases normally when the crop is cultivated or harvested, that is the time the prices are lowest, or basically, and then you buy it for a season, maybe 4 or 6 months down the line, like a cotton purchase for a spinning mill, or a example can be a fabric wherein the prices are lower, and that's a standard quality that you keep purchasing. So that kind of a things. So price increase, in anticipation of the price increase, you keep a safety stock. And then quantity discount. Quantity discount is offsetting the holding cost. Basically, a quantity discount is a volume discount that you get when you place an order. For example, 100, instead of 100, if you place order for 200, the product which is for 200 rupees, they are ready to give you a discount of 10% on that if you place double the quantity. So that is a volume discount that you negotiate with your supplier to offset the holding cost. When I say offset the holding cost, now you remember that we discussed 6-7 points of holding cost. Those points put together, if you work on a cost point of view, maybe for 200 rupees shirt, your holding cost for a month is around 5 rupees. And if you are getting a discount of 20 rupees, you will say, okay, for next 3 months, I can hold it, which is 15 rupees, still I save 5 rupees. Does it make sense? Like, are you getting, are you able to understand what I'm trying to explain over here?
Yeah, sir. Yeah.
Okay. let's move on. Now we discussed about the good reasons. Now these are the bad reasons for holding the inventory. So there is a one bad reason which is very prominent in India is unreliable supplier with the bad delivery record. So what happens when you have an unreliable supplier? You actually you are not able to predict whether the item will come on time. So what happens? You actually tell him, okay, भैया मेरे को एक महीने में दे देना, but you have a 45 days in your hand, and then he is able to service that order in 35 days, and it arrives in your warehouse 10 days earlier. You're getting it? So this is the
No, sir.
okay.
Hello?
Let me explain once again. You have a unreliable supplier who has a record of delivering late. Now you have he says that he will deliver in 30 days, but actually you have 45 days in your hand. So when he says 35 days, you assume that within 35 to 45 days I will receive it, and the supplier supplies in 35 days. You actually end up having a 10 days sitting inventory with you. Is that clear now?
Yeah, sir. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is important, that it is important that you need to have right suppliers with you who are reliable, because you are actually incurring an additional cost because of the bad supplier.
That's a place. Yeah.
Second is inefficient company process. When we say inefficient company process, it can be anything related to information, like you have some stock available in your warehouse, but your system is not showing that. Physical stock is available, but system is not showing that. That might be a reason for inefficient company process. Then it can be also that you have an inventory lying somewhere in your thing, but it has got rejected, and then you have to again stock new fabric for to replace that kind of a issue over there. Third point is inaccurate forecasting. Inaccurate forecasting. Any idea what is inaccurate forecasting?
Yeah, sir. Because sometime because they in a central warehouse where fabric used to come in some industry, they bring it as a bale wise or something as a roll wise. So in this way, they can't get the clear idea about how the thing will work. So in that case, it can be say that inaccurate forecasting because of the because of the inventory thing. Yeah.
Uh,
And
inaccurate. Ma'am, you are saying something?
yeah, I was just asking if some other student can try this question.
Inaccurate forecasting. Good example.
I am vocal enough for the students. Is there anything that I need to do to get you pumped up and start talking and reacting? Anything
So
you tell me?
inaccurate.
Sorry?
Hello, sir. My name is Preeti. So inaccurate forecasting means that you are not able to recognize the trends in the market that are already going on, and on the basis of that, if you do not जैसे अगर हमने गलत चीजें recognize कर लिया, थोड़ा mistake हो गया, तो उसको हम अगले season के लिए जो भी production करेंगे, उसमें भी गलतियां होंगी, and that will result into major losses.
Right. Anybody else want to try this?
BF Tech 7, anyone?
बच्चों बोलो, दिमाग में नहीं जाएगा, मैंने तभी वो स्लाइड दिखाई थी आपको.
हेलो सर, पलक दिस साइड. सर, इट मे बी इन टर्म्स ऑफ कि हमने रॉ मटेरियल ज्यादा मंगवा लिया है, डिमांड से ज्यादा अगर हम बना दे रहे हैं, प्रोडक्शन कर दे रहे हैं.
Right. Very good. Thank you. And आई थिंक गुड इनिशिएटिव. हिंदी इंग्लिश सब चलेगा. प्लीज मैं हिंदी में बात करता हूँ थोड़ी देर, आपको थोड़ा कंफर्ट लेवल आएगा. इनएक्यूरेट फोरकास्टिंग में क्या होता है कि जो आप लोगों ने सही बोला वैसे, बेसिकली व्हेन वी आर प्लेसिंग ऑर्डर और हमारा जो ऑर्डर प्लानिंग होता है उसके अंदर अगर हमने गलत कुछ कैलकुलेशन किया और उसकी वजह से हमारा ऑर्डर प्लेसमेंट ज़्यादा हो गया और वो इन्वेंट्री उसका मतलब 10-15-20% ज़्यादा आ गई और वो यूज में नहीं आने वाली अपने, तो वो दैट इज इनएक्यूरेट फोरकास्टिंग. यू गेटिंग इट? मे बी कस्टमर हैज टोल्ड कि आई विल बाय 100 pieces फ्रॉम यू, but his sale did not happen. That can also be a problem on customer side, that he did inaccurate forecasting on his end, wherein you end up having a stock in your factory because of that. So that also happen a lot of times, because customer normally they do this and then you don't have anything to say because they are your customer. Is this clear to you?
Yeah, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Very good, very good. Good. I can see more. I need to hear more voices from your side. Then compensating for the long supply and distribution channel. So this is the example which we use for China. It's a same example, that if you are getting something from a long distance, then you may have to compensate that with some kind of a, like for example, if your shipment India से जैसे हमारा shipment जाता है USA, तो it takes around 45 days, plus it takes around 10-12 days for custom clearance and reaching to the warehouse. So total transit time is 55 days. Now 55 days का compensation करने के लिए वो 55 days की inventory अपने पास customer रखेगा. Is this clear now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. इसमें एक चीज और होती है कि जब वो 55 डेज का इन्वेंट्री रखेगा तो ही इज एक्चुअली ट्राइंग टू, when he is placing order to you, he is also placing in calculation कि 55 डेज ट्रांजिट लगेगा प्लस मैन्युफैक्चरिंग का 60 डेज, तो 105 डेज पहले उसको ऑर्डर प्लेस करना पड़ता है. Is that clear now? If your customer is placing order, the right time for him to place order is 105 days. Are you clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is important because this happens in international business when you're doing or you're buying a material from some other country. So both ways it happens. So you need to actually plan for transit time and also your production time that you need for the delivery to happen. So you have to minus all those days to actually arrive at a planning date of what is the right time for a supplier to supply a product, for example, from China, so that it can come to your factory in time, you can produce it and service a customer on time. Clear? Then and complexities of processes. It can be related to some process wherein you need minimum quantity. Some process you are not able to I would say wherein like it is so complex that you end up having extra inventory because of that. That kind of a thing is there. So it is always important that these complex processes, you break them into a small processes and try and see what best can be done to reduce the inventory over there. All right. Everybody clear on this? Should I move on?
Yes, sir.
Very good, Dhruv. Good to hear your voice. जोश आ जाता है यार, और कोई बात नहीं है, हमको जोश आ जाता है आपके. So there is a push strategy. Yes.
Sorry to interrupt, sir. Sir, can you please go to the back previous slide?
Yeah.
Sir, in this first point, you have mentioned unreliable suppliers with bad delivery record. सर तो जरूरी नहीं है ना फिर हम कि उसी पे रिलाय करें. हम ऐसा भी कर सकते हैं कि हम डिवाइड कर दें अपने सप्लायर्स. अगर वो ऑलरेडी बैड रिकॉर्ड है उसके डिलीवरी का, तो हम सेकेंड ऑप्शंस या बैकअप में भी रख सकते हैं.
राइट, एब्सोल्युटली राइट. लोग करते भी हैं पलक, इसको ऐसा नहीं है नहीं करते हैं, लेकिन क्या होता है कि एक सप्लायर को if supplier is not performing, by the time you get the new supplier and he starts performing, it takes little time.
Yes, sir.
So it depends on product what you're. If it is a commodity product with multiple suppliers, they can switch immediately on that. But if it is not a commodity product, it's a specialist product, then you'll have to live with that supplier for the time being till the time you have a other alternative with you. All right?
Yes, sir.
All clear? Should I
Yes,
move
sir.
on?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Push strategy is basically so there are two strategies when we talk about inventory in the factory. One way of inventory is like you take a specific inventory, say for example, if you are not doing made to order, but it is made to stock. So you take 500 pieces target, you inject into the system 500 pieces, and then and you push it through the system at the in all the processes. That will help you to minimize the inventory in different places. So what happens when we talk about made to order situation, made to stock situation? So there are a lot of times people actually end up having the inventory with them in different areas. WIP is sitting and there, and you actually take over the new order. वो नया order चालू हो जाता है, फिर उसके बाद वो पुराना पड़ा रहता है वहां पर. So this is where we say push strategy, like you actually have target for 500 pieces. Just take the raw material for 500 pieces and push it through the system in a specific time, maybe 2 days or 1 day or a week, whatever is your capacity. So that is why it is a well-known strategy that is work in a made to stock situation. Then there is a pull strategy which is made to order situation. Pull strategy is basically produce what is needed by the downstream machine. Okay. If the machine breaks, so this is important, and it is, I can tell you from the industry experience, a lot of people fail over here in this. When we talk about if machine breaks down, stop sending material from the other workstation. Actually what happens, there's lack of communication. The other workstation keeps producing it, and there are heaps and heaps of product lying on the floor. And you are senior, you must have visited the industry also. How many of you have actually seen this situation?
Sir, I have seen.
Anybody else? So this is quite normal. When the machine breakdowns, its first thing is to stop it. Second is reduce material holding in each stage and move material just when needed. This point is clear?
Yes, sir.
Third is identify. Fourth is identify which machine in the factory has the lowest throughput. So this is the important point. So it's basically, if you have heard about theory of constraint actually talks about this, that your lowest productive machine is a bottleneck in your factory. So you need to ensure that you manage material before, at the bottleneck, and after the bottleneck, to ensure the smooth flow of material. So what happens? I'll give you an example. You have 5 machines, and one of the machine is a slow machine, or maybe the operation is longer over there. So there are 2, and you don't have an option of adding one more machine over there because you don't have that kind of a machine. So what you will do is basically you will ensure that machine is working round the clock, or maybe whatever is needed, and you actually ensure that the machine doesn't stop for any reason. If that machine stops for any reason, you will further have a situation where your target production will not even come to that level. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any questions on this pull strategy?
So I have one doubt. Like when we are industry, we see like production analyst used to go every line and find every hour production and all, right? but the end line checkers know the clear status of the line. So why not they can raise the ticket, because as the production analyst always come hourly to see the production, right? So checkers can check the status of the line, which machine is working, and according from her side it can raise the ticket, right? So the production analyst doesn't have to come, and then the process will be more smoother.
I think it is important. See, there are multiple things. So there are pressure on different areas. And each and every person has their own pressure. So feeder will have a pressure that they need to feed so many pieces in the line, and the packer will have a pressure that they need to pack so many pieces in the line. If there is anywhere there is a bottleneck situation or there is a machine breakdown, automatically feeding should stop, but it doesn't happen, because people normally think if I stop the feeding, the people before that bottleneck area, they will be unproductive, and but they end up actually, what happens, they end up actually overproducing, and because of that like bottleneck situation, they'll have to work overtime or manage that situation, or may even have a quality issues because of that, because of overproduction, and they didn't know that there was a quality issue in one of the operation, and they overproduced, and by the time it came on a checking table, there was an issue. So those kinds, so that is why when we say UPS system, unit production system, that works really well for assembly line, because if you have a bundle system moving, we really have a problem in terms of ensuring, until you have a checkpoints in regular interval, you end up having a problem coming to you after the first bundle arrives at the last station, and by the time you may have already produced 100-200 pieces. So that is the reason we say that it is important that we have proper checkpoints, and we ensure that the quality product is made by each and every person, and they check their own quality. If they check their own quality, this kind of a problem may not come to us. But I had seen regularly in any industry, you see, be it garments or be it any kind of industry, this problem persists. But people don't understand, if they stop it, they will actually be able to produce more and better rather than overproducing it. Is it clear?
Yeah, sir.
Okay. So key aspects of managing inventory. The first is production lead time. The production lead time is important for you to understand when you are placing an order for the inventory. So high lead time inventory should be inventory closest possible to the production floor. So why do we do that? Any idea on this? So, see, why? Any idea on this? Why do we do this? Highest lead time inventory closest to the production floor.
Because we don't want to delay the shipment, na sir. So according to that, we have to do the extra order for, because in every phase there will be mistakes can be possible, like recutting, rework will be there, right? So in that case, they have to bring.
Okay. Any more answers for this? Basically, this is the inventory. If you see this, the high lead time.
Yeah.
If you finish this inventory and don't have it for production, the next time this inventory will come to you will be after a longer time, maybe 10 days, 15 days, 20 days, whatever is the lead time. It is important for a factory to have a control on the maximum lead time inventory thing, wherein your lead time is longer. So you have a visibility on that, and production people as well as the warehouse people have a visibility on it. Even though system also takes care of it, but it is important that it is closest to possible to the production because of that reason. Then supplier lead time, that is again a criteria. Basically, longer lead time can be managed by regional suppliers, reduce lead time. Is it clear? Like if you are getting something from China Like everybody is now talking, USS is talking that we will do the local production or a regional production. So this is what it is. If you, for example, if you have to supply something from Bombay, then you will have to ensure that you will have to get it from the nearby supplier. If you get it from somewhere in China or even Delhi, then it will take 10 days for this to come arrive over there. So this can be one example. Even the China can be another example. The longer the lead time, it's better to have a regional suppliers rather than the distant supplier. Next is pull push boundary. Basically, it is related to keep some products, semi-product finished. So it's like a preparatory that you keep. So you must have seen fabric buttons. You must have seen some factories prepare some components of the product and keep it ready. And moment the main product comes in, they assemble it and close it. So this is something that in this way, the inventory which is low costing, they will produce it and keep it ready. And moment the expensive thing comes in, they assemble it along with that and then finish it. It is very popular, but very like people actually end up losing this focus on this. This is important for them to understand, and if they are able to successfully do it, they can reduce inventory on that. But you guys need to actually think not only from the garment side, but you need to think from the complete supply chain side. When you start thinking from the complete supply chain side, this point will get clear to you that, for example, semi produces something like you keep a gray fabric ready. Sometimes you keep the yarn ready. Sometimes you keep a dyed fabric ready, or maybe the RFD fabric ready for dyeing, for printing, that kind of a thing. So it's a semi-produced, and you know that once I have a RFD fabric ready, moment the customer gives me the print approval, immediately I will produce and finish it. You're clear about it? And this is like a pull-push boundary. Prepare future order for faster service than orders when order arrives. So this is what is the example of RFD fabric which I mentioned to you. Is it clear? This point is clear?
Yes, sir. But sometimes industry face problem because of this also. Because what situation I have seen that because the trim is not available right now, so they make the shirt and they keep in the factories in some corner area, and the shirt is getting crease mark and all. They don't have proper management, and also don't you think that that is also one of the problem what industry is facing, because they are doing pre-production, but some trims are not available, so they are not completing the product, but they are doing the half production part, and then they are keeping in the factory. Because so this is one problem also, sir, as we see.
So Diksha, what is the solution for that?
Because what I see, because according to unit we have to decide now how many semi product we have to make, because if unit is small, how will you manage to keep that the made production thing, right?
What is the thumb rule that you need to apply in your factory? If you're running a factory as a factory manager or maybe a owner of a factory, what is it that you need to put a thumb rule over there?
Yeah, that's the one thing, that they don't want the line to be stopped. Okay, so somehow they will make the production, even though the trim is not able, they will continue with some other buyer.
My question is different. My question is, if you are running a factory, what will you do? If you are a owner of a factory, what will you do?
I will, according to what the resource is and according to my buyer, that is something go with the mutual understanding with the buyer. So we have to understand together the situation and work together. So instead of keeping and creating problem in the unit, we have to adjust according to buyer and a situation. Only we can take decision, I think.
I can give you my experience. If you take pressure, people will give you pressure.
Yeah.
If you are giving pressure to the people will not give you pressure. The moment you say that for this week I'm going to close my order planning for next, so say for example, if this comes in by this Friday, this order will go in next week. Otherwise, this order will not run in next week. The moment you start saying that, that means the next for the coming week, Friday is the closure date. The next Friday again, if it arrives before that, the planning will be done for the week after that. The moment you start doing that, immediately the pressure will be there on the supplier, the pressure will be there on the purchase people and the customer if they have not given the approval.
Yeah.
And I can tell you your factory efficiency will go up by 15% just by that. If you do that, you have not done anything. You have just created a thumb rule in the factory that I will plan on Friday, close my plan for next week on Friday. After that, no changes will be made. And on Friday, when you are planning, you are ensuring that all the material is available with you. Once you start doing that, I'm telling you, your 10 to 15% efficiency will just go by that, nothing else. The major problem or the major efficiency losses in the factory are because of the misplanning, because of assumption that something will come on Monday and I will produce, but Monday doesn't come ever. You know that.
Correct. Yeah.
And then material, the cut pieces material is lying on a floor, getting a dust, creases, and few of it will get rejected because of stains and other things. Right?
Yeah,
So
sir.
I think as a industry warriors, you need to actually take that message in the industry that this is my thumb rule, this should be applied, and this will get us the result. I can tell you that it will definitely get it. I've tried it many number of times in many factories and it has worked well. But moment you leave it, you leave it on to the people that चलो हम करते हैं, आपकी हेल्प करते हैं. जिस दिन आपने उसकी हेल्प करने के लिए सोचा, आप भाग रहे होगे और वो पीछे बैठा होगा कि आपने मेरी शिपमेंट टाइम से नहीं दी. आप समझ रहे हो? It is like everybody is like that. So they will get relaxed and you are running after. भैया मेरे को फैब्रिक दे दो या मेरे को ट्रिम दे दो, मेरा प्रोडक्शन अटका हुआ है, मटेरियल फ्लोर पे पड़ा हुआ है. You guys must have seen when you went to the factories.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But sir, this is the way, na? Sometimes industry working because they have some particular trim supplier and they know that the trim will come, but they are managing somehow. Like they have some problems, but according to transparency or lack of communication between the department wise, I think some issue occurs. But I don't know, but it was there, and
No, it is there everywhere. I can tell you that. But I think you guys are getting educated in the most premier institute in India. You guys should know what is the right way of doing it. When you go into the industry, I think there should be a new beginning. There should be a new knowledge that is going on. That this is how the right way of doing it, and I can get you the result. Without doing anything, I can get you the right efficiency also.
correct. Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on. I think we are getting a little late. Sales and operation planning. SNOP is quite a famous term. How much product material you will make or buy. This is basically about that. Aggregate plan when it comes to predict how much you have available. Store layout and production placement affect what you purchase. So basically what happens, like when it is important for you to have an aggregate plan on in totality, like what is it that you need in terms of this month, next month, and next 3 months, and then work on a prediction as well as the final confirmation of orders. So this will help you. This will help you in terms of planning your store layout also, because a lot of times it happens that when you have a heavy rush in your factory, there's no space in stores to actually keep the things. So that is where the planning comes in play. They need to plan right things coming in right time so that at least things are moving out of the factory and things are coming in at the right time also, both ways. Second is the sales plan, how much your customer plan to buy. It is important, like each factory or a marketing person or a sales person should give you the forecast well in advance so that you can plan your production with proper timing and efficiency and your deliveries are not creating problem. It is important. See, you can service 1 or 2 rush orders, but if you have 90% of the rush order, then I don't think it will be fireworks only in the factory. It will not be the easy planning of order. It is normal in any factory. It's important that you plan your orders in a right way so that you don't end up having a problem or situation what we discussed just now. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Find the right balance, what customer wants and what you can supply. So it is important we don't overcommit. So you know your aggregate production that this is my capacity, this is what I can do. And according to that, the demand forecasting, it should be able to meet the demand forecasting. If demand is more, you should not overcommit or you can stretch it up to around 10 to 15%. But beyond that, I don't think that is possible. But what happens, people in anticipation, certain things will not come in time. They actually end up taking 20, 30% excess orders. And sometimes everything is in-house, then they fall flat on this. That's a major issue for them. It's important that you know what customer wants, what is the timeline, and what you can supply. So this is important. Second is required information from 3 sources. Basically, you need to have information from sales department to determine the expected sales so that you can forecast and you have the raw material planned accordingly. Second, the operation department to determine the capacity of the factory that I can produce 200 pieces or 2000 pieces per day. Third is the finance department to define the financial constraints. So if you want to have an inventory of, say, for example, 10 days, but finance says I cannot afford 10 days inventory, I can only give you 7 days inventory. So that is a bottleneck area. So accordingly, you need to have a balance between the 3 things so that you don't end up having excess inventory in one area and not having the inventory in another area. And you can work with it. Similarly, sales department is also important. They give the forecast. So sales, operations, and finance, 3 departments are critical in terms of planning and executing the order. Is it clear? And the levels of inventory which are there in the factory.
Yeah.
So now we come to the demand forecasting. Type of demand. There are 2 types of demand, which is independent and dependent demand. Independent demand is basically which products customer wants and how many they want. Basically, it's related to that. Dependent demand is calculated. It's basically made to order situation. Then forecasting accurately is one more important aspect of demand forecasting. It is basically when you are forecasting, your horizon of forecasting should not be more than, say, for example, 40 days, 45 days, or 90 days. A lot of people I've seen, they go up to 6 months where the visibility is not there. You can macro plan it, but micro planning, I think maximum you should do around 45 days. That is the best I've seen in the industry. Start with aggregate forecasting. So it is important that you have a clear idea on the sales forecasting, and then you have a aggregate forecasting about how much inventory is needed and what orders needs to be serviced in what time, and use multiple sources of input by combining information. So what happens, like if the salesperson is saying this order will go in time, but you need to use your own intelligence in terms of talking to other people, maybe the planner, maybe the finance, maybe. So there are multiple people who knows whether this order will go on time. Finance knows because they might say, इस customer का तो payment ही नहीं आया, तो हम लोग इसको next order ship नहीं करेंगे. So you might get a buffer of 1 week in that. You're getting it. So it is important for you to know, have the input on the order from multiple areas and then combine information to actually forecast accurately. Because no point if you're making a product and then keeping in warehouse and then we are waiting for some approval from customer or some payment to come for the past shipment before it is dispatched, and it happens a lot of time. So it is important that you actually have a open discussion with multiple people to get the right information. Next is good forecasting is basically, I think, don't complicate it too much. It should be simple and it should be done timely. If you're forecasting something and you're late by 7 days, it doesn't help. So it is important that you are placing an order. Like I gave you the example, if your customer needs a shipment in USA and your transit time is 55 days, and then your production and the lead time is around 60 days, so you need 115 days time. If you are late by even 5 days, you will actually, at the end of the day, you will have a 5 days less in your hand to service the order. It is important that you, whatever you're planning, you're timely planning that. And when I'm saying simple, it is basically you keep it simple. Don't complicate it too much, because if you see some of the planners, they make a forecast sheet. It is difficult to read, and only he is the person who will understand it, and he will tell you, okay, ऐसे करना है इसको. So you will not understand it, and you will say, हाँ मैं ऐसे ही करता हूँ, because मेरे को पता ही नहीं चल रहा कैसे करना है इसको. So a lot of times it's important you have a good forecasting Excel sheet or whatever way you are doing it. So next is MRP. MRP is any idea what is MRP?
Material request.
Anybody? Guys, you need to try. मैम आप थोड़ा बोलो बच्चों को, मेरे ख्याल से सो गए सब.
नहीं एक्चुअली मैं वही उनको BF-Tech 7 को पूछने वाली थी.
मैम सर, इज इट मटेरियल रिक्वायरमेंट प्लानिंग?
ओके, एनीबॉडी? Palak, you are right or not? Are you confident about it?
So there is a question mark after my answer.
BF-Tech 7.
No, this is
This.
I will not tell what is MRP. I think you will have. This is your homework. You go back and look for it.
Material requirement planning.
And that will be a learning for you. Okay.
Can you be a little louder?
So it's material requirement planning.
Right. You are right, actually. I think even Palak was right. I just wanted to see what confidence she has. She had a question mark in her mind from that angle. Anyway, basically MRP depends on the inputs to MRP. Inputs are related to item details, bill of material, what is the lead time of the different items over there, and inventory record, what is there in the stock, what is there already ordered in transit. All those information should be there before we run the MRP. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Now we come to the next one, which is ABC inventory analysis. I am just touching on different inventory tools that we use in the industry and these different concepts. ABC, you must have heard about it. It is a part of your course curriculum. Anybody has done this? शांत हो जाते हो यार सब, मतलब डर लगता है, क्या लगता है, पता नहीं ABC क्या आ गया ये.
Class, you must have studied this in costing, if I'm not wrong.
We read about it, but it's not striking right now.
अच्छा, मेरे को एक बार बताओ, are you guys enjoying the session today or not?
Yes,
I would request
relate
just for 2 minutes, I think everybody unmute and talk about it, please. It's a request. Are you enjoying the session or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So when you're enjoying it, then you should actually participate in it, ना? Because अगर मैं क्लास में होता था तब तो मैं आपको participate करा लेता. पर अभी तो I am like
constraint.
बट सर ये सब्जेक्ट थोड़े पढ़ने बाकी है अभी।
अच्छा चलो तो अच्छा है ना, फिर पूछोगे तो रजिस्टर हो जाएगा आपको, अगर पूछोगे नहीं तो रजिस्टर नहीं होगा। मैंने वो इनिशियल जो स्लाइड दिखाई थी इसीलिए दिखाई थी कि आप पार्टिसिपेट करोगे तो यू विल गेट 100% ओनली, इफ यू डोंट पार्टिसिपेट यू विल नॉट गेट 100%। ठीक है, आगे चले। The ABC analysis based on the Pareto principle, basically it talks about 80% value by 20% of the items. तो कोई भी इन्वेंट्री आप उठा करके देखेंगे उसके अंदर 20% ऑफ द आइटम का 80% वैल्यू होता है। मतलब नॉर्मली ये देखा जाता है 70% भी होता है, 60% भी होता है, पर आई थिंक यू आइडिया इज यू नीड टू आइडेंटिफाई top 20% items with the highest value. Okay, and identify them and monitor them, right? This is the first base. Second is item by usage. So what I'm trying to explain over here, you build up an Excel sheet, and then in your Excel sheet you need to do these steps what I'm telling you. Second is items by usage. Items by usage is volume of items used into unit cost. Is that clear? Volume of item used is basically how many pieces are needed or used into unit cost, and then rank these items by high to low. High to low, when we say like highest value or highest value to the lowest value. Then first item on the list might be the highest cost of item with low volume. So say for example, what is the highest cost of item that you have earned in any garment industry would be? Any idea on that? Highest cost item in garment industry?
I'm not getting it, sir.
What is the, see, when you're buying, when you have an inventory or a warehouse in the factory, right? And when you go inside the warehouse, what or a store, what is the highest or what is the most expensive thing in a garment factory in terms of raw material?
The fabric.
Sir, the fabric
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So if you are buying a fabric in your factory and it is sitting idle for 10 days, what will happen?
It's start getting damaged.
No, it is properly packed, Diksha. So I don't think that will happen. Any other? Try again.
सर जो इन्वेस्टेड मनी है उसका कोई यूज नहीं हो रहा है।
हाँ, उससे क्या होता है?
इन्वेंट्री मैनेजमेंट पे पैसे लगते हैं।
Rachit, you are right, but what do you mean by that? When it is not used, what is it that you are incurring?
सर देयर इज नो वैल्यू क्रिएटेड एट द एंड। तो सर जो हमने मनी इन्वेस्ट किया है उससे हमें ना प्रॉफिट मिलेगा, प्लस इन्वेंट्री का होल्डिंग कॉस्ट ऑलरेडी हमारा इंक्रीज होते जा रहा है बिकॉज इट्स टेकिंग अप स्पेस।
Very good, Rachit. I think excellent. I would say because it is important for you as a expert in your industry that when you go into the industry, you need to understand if anything is lying idle, it is the money which is lying idle. Say for example, if you keep 100 rupees or 1 lakh rupees in your home in a locker versus you are keeping it in a bank. In the bank, it is giving you interest. In the home, it is giving you zero, right? There is no growth, or it is going down. Any idea? When money is lying in your locker at home, is it growing? Is it stable, or it is going down?
Sir, going down.
It's going down.
And what is the reason of going down?
Sir, as the day passes, value of money गिरता जाता है because of.
What do we call that? What do we call that? Is a word for it?
Sir, value depreciation.
No. Inflation.
Very good.
Right.
So inflation, when we say 4%, 5%, so it's an annual 5% or 6% inflation in India. So your actually money sitting at home is actually going down by that value. Similarly, high cost item, if it is sitting idle in your factory, it is the money which is sitting idle. Second thing is, if it is there in your leftover is there, which is high value, it is better to make something out of it or dispose it off, because you will get the money, some part of the money back. Otherwise, if it is lying in the warehouse for even 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, I've seen people holding the fabric for many years and still saying कि मेरा इतना value का fabric है, but actually उसका value तो almost मतलब खत्म कर दिया उन्होंने. Now you are getting what I'm trying to explain. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Good. Okay. High cost item with low volume. So basically fabric is a high cost item. So I can tell you one of the product I used to do, it had a Swarovski stones. So everybody's clear about what is Swarovski stones?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, and that stone was the most expensive item that I had in the factory, more than a fabric. And some of the times I used to monitor it on daily basis, that how much is the stock that I have. It was that, and it used to come from Austria, where their headquarters. It is important. You need to have an eye on the right thing, which is high cost item, and low cost item with the high volume. High volume, when I'm saying, even though, for example, if your label cost is low, but you might be using the value wise, it might be in equivalent to fabric. For example, I'm just giving a hypothetical example. It might be a reason for that also. You're getting it. So there might be high volume item, but the cost is low. You may not ignore that. कि मेरा trim का cost ज़्यादा नहीं है, तो मेरे को उसको छोड़ देना चाहिए. Sometimes your overall trim cost is more than 10%. So then you need to control that as well. Okay. Next is find a break point. When we segregate the item as per the price highest to the lowest, so in the middle you will see there is a point when the high value item, and then medium, and then the lower value item. You will when you filter it, you will see that. Am I right in saying that?
Yes, sir.
Is it clear now? So when you do that, the few items on the top will be the large cost usage, and many items on the bottom will be the small cost usage. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. Everybody clear? Should I move on?
Sir, any example?
Okay. You have 100 items in your list. Okay. Starting with fabric and going up to the smallest label or a thread, right? Now those 100 items, when you work on a volume, multiply the volume and the cost, you will get a value of that item. And then you rate them into a highest value to the lowest value in the in your Excel sheet. You will come to know that out of 100 there are around 70 items or 60 items which are high value, highest value. There are 20 items at the lowest value, and there are items in the middle which is another around 20% with the mid value. So this is what ABC is all about. You're getting it?
Yes,
Is
sir.
it clear? This concept has to be clear to you, then only I can move aage. It is important. If you have understood, I can move forward.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You can ask me if you're not understood. Now, next is ABC is basically A, C, and B. So I've explained you that A is the item with the few items with the top and the large cost usage, and that's around 60 to 67%. When we see the Pareto chart is 66%, but it varies depending on factory to factory. You need to actually have a very close control by everyone involved. It is important that that is the maximum monitored item, because it's the highest value, and it is almost 60 to 70% of your inventory cost. Second is, don't hold too many, nor want to run out of it. So you should not hold too many. So basically what we say that if you're holding too many, then you are actually sitting on a money in without giving any results to you. And if you run out of it, then you will have a problem of losing on the production. Is that clear? Then
Yes,
we have a very tight control and accurate records. So this is like this item is very tight control and accurate record. And then reorder level 1 week. This is important point. If you, when I say reorder level, so there are items which have a longer lead time, but you can plan it in such a way that it keeps coming in your factory at a regular interval. So when you plan this way, you don't have to pay at once for the entire lot, but you'll have to, so whenever it is coming, only for that much you have to pay after some time, maybe 30 days payment terms or whatever you have it, you'll have to pay according. That is why we stagger it, so that it doesn't become a burden on a finance, and also it doesn't need to be stored in the warehouse without having a space. Is it clear now? Now,
Yes, sir.
okay.
Yes, sir.
Now I purposely moved the C on the middle because first you do the highest 60% items, and then you move to the lowest 20% items, and lowest 20% items by value. Then you actually see it varies from 5 to 15% factory to factory. Simplest control possible and minimal record. When we say minimal record, is like there may not be need for a different kind of a follow-up sheets for that. A basic inventory record should be fine for that. But high value item on the A part, you may have different records and multiple people watching that. And then your reorder level is 3 to 4 weeks. So as you have seen in A, we have a reorder level of 1 week because it's a high value item. For C, which is low value item, your reorder level can be 3 to 4 weeks depending on the lead time again, but you should plan it in such a way. And third is the B. Actually, B is the middle item, which is approximately around 20% in the middle, and less tight control. It's basically tight but less control and good records. Reorder level average we say 2 weeks, but we extend it up to 3 weeks. Once ABC, once you do it in implement it any factory, and they do it religiously every week, you are monitoring it, I think it will easily get your inventory down minimum by 10 to 15%. I can tell you that minimum, I'm telling you, because this is it's a proven method. It is something, and it will lead to, like, you will, once you have a item sitting in a warehouse for a longer time, you will also push the warehouse person that भैया इसको ऑर्डर मत करना या परचेज को ऑर्डर मत करो, बिकॉज मेरे को अभी पड़ा हुआ है, मेरे पास 1 हफ्ता और चलेगा, आप 1 हफ्ते बाद ऑर्डर रिलीज करना. So those kind of a discussion starts happening in the factory for that. Is it clear now? Should I move on?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Economic order quantity, any idea? This is some butterfly which was there when we studied sometime, but I don't know what is this. That are you thinking that? Order that results in the lowest total inventory cost. Okay. It is the amount that perfectly balances the cost of ordering inventory with the cost of holding the inventory. What do you understand by this? Anybody can explain?
Sir, given
Anybody? Like, I think Priyanshi.
Yes, sir. Actually, whatever the space in inventory at factory, so you can order as per the space, like minimize order. So to control the economic quantity, like we required only 1,000 pieces of such and such things, and we required in this time of the amount of trims, then we can order as per the minimum level of quantity, and we will require it further, then we can move on for.
So what is the reason that you are ordering like your perfect? What is it that you are balancing in EOQ? It's there. It's written over there. If you read it right, then you will understand.
Yes, sir. It is the amount that perfectly balance the cost of ordering inventory with the cost of holding inventory. Whatever the holding cost you are invested in inventory, that perfectly balance with the minimized order or economic order quantity.
Right. we spoke about cost of holding inventory, right? I explained you what all goes into holding the inventory. We also spoke about cost of ordering inventory. So when we say cost of ordering inventory is not only the cost of internally ordering the inventory, but also getting the inventory to your place.
Yeah, definitely, sir. Definitely, sir.
So you need to, so it includes the transport cost, it may be the customs cost, it must be some kind of other charges, paperwork, document. There must be, yeah. So
Yes.
all that put together, your cost of ordering inventory should be perfectly balancing with the holding in cost.
Yes, sir.
This is the formula for that. So if you can Google search it, I think it will be better you read about it. It's a very, very important formula. We've got only 7, 8, 10 minutes now to be, I'll have to rush on this, but you can the Google search, read about it. It's an important formula. It's basically creating a right balance. And if you take some examples and put it in Excel and try to work on this formula, it will help you to understand the thing. It's basically demand into ordering divided by holding cost. So what is the demand is like you are ordering 50 pieces, and what is the ordering cost into 2 divided by holding cost. That's the under root of that. Even I don't know the logic means I don't know the exact why did they do all this thing, but it is when you apply it in the industry, it works well. And this works well for the items which it's a commodity item. When you're running a factory, some kind of a thread, some kind of maybe a diesel, maybe regular items which are needed for as a consumable for the factory, or consumable raw material also can be that part of it, like a paper foam or kind of a buttons or standard thread. So all this you can apply a EOQ on that. All right.
Yes, sir. Everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not for everything because there are items which you may order once in a while, so that you don't need to do it. Only for the regular order. This is important. When you have to repeatedly order it, what is the right time for ordering it? That is what its EOQ says about. So एक हफ्ते में करना है या 10 दिन में करना है या 12 दिन में करना है. This is what you come to know, and how much quantity you need to order. That also you get from this formula. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. I request you to read it offline and then register in your mind. This is important thing for you to understand. One important thing, what happens, I think practically you must have visited the factories. Lot of factories actually have a problem with counting in the inventory. So, and uski wajah se apna forecasting, planning सब problem आ जाता है. Oh, I think he will say, I have got 30 meter of fabric, but actually when he opens the roll, it is 15 meter. When we investigate about it, we come to know that somebody has cut 10 meter and somebody else has cut 5 meter, and that's why the reduction is there, and there's no entry for that. Similarly, there can be other issues, like there are a package which supplier has given, and supplier has given a pack of 100 pieces, and when you actually start counting it, it becomes that it is 98 pieces. The supplier had made a mistake in counting, but your record says 100 pieces. So these are the practical problems that you have with the inventory, which needs to be, there's a way to do that, to check that and ensure that has been corrected at a regular interval. So basically what happens is you conduct a frequent item check with the counting errors. The frequent counting and auditing of such selected items will help you identify issues related to errors and fixing it. So you need, and there are which items you should do it. It's basically expensive items. So it's a mix of items that you need to have that in a cycle counting. One, expensive items, some of the less expensive items, long production time items, short production time item, high sales volume item, and low sales volume item. So those kind of things, you have a mix of a bucket of items, and then you start auditing that in terms of what is the system stock and what is the physical stock. And then you do it regularly for different items. Or maybe if you're attending this item, if you're doing and you're facing problem with particular item continuously, start monitoring it. Moment you start doing it, consciousness comes in the people, and people try to correct things wherever the mistakes are happening. And once you go deep into the problem, you will understand the supplier was a problem, somebody is not entering, or something has happened in the factory. So then you identify those problems, cap it up, fix it, and then correct your records. And then repeat it for few more times until it becomes as a habit to the people that this is where we will control it. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
This is a time tested formula. You need to actually it's basically identify items and then start frequently check it and audit it. Automatically consciousness will go into the people that they need to correct the inventory. So let's move on. Inventory models, basically there's a fixed quantity model. I'm actually jumping from different things, but I thought like let me cover multiple things. So that is why I'm jumping from different areas. Fixed quantity models basically order same amount each time. So when you are ordering or placing orders, so that is what I'm trying to explain. So there is one model of ordering is the fixed quantity model. Second is fixed period model. So every week you place an order. That is a fixed. So when you are working on EOQ formula, so there might be a quantity or there might be a week that you need to work on. That every 7 days or every 10 days I will place an order for this item. That kind of a thing.
So
Then,
it depends on demand, sir.
Sorry?
It depends on demand, sir. Like in EOQ formula, it depends on demand.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then single period model is basically balance cost of having too less or too much inventory. So basically, when you're ordering something, don't order too much or don't order too less for that. So that model also works for inventory ordering. So you'll have to find the right, and this doesn't fit for all the items. It goes item to item, and then you need to identify which model fits for which item and apply that formula for that item. Okay, fixed period में इतने आइटम है, ये वाले आइटम फिक्स में, ये क्वांटिटी में है, और सिंगल पीरियड मॉडल में आएंगे उस तरह से. Then vendor management inventory. So what I wanted to ask question actually. Basically, supplier manages the inventory over here. So what happens? Like I explained to you the Walmart thing, wherein as a vendor, a factory is maintaining an inventory so that they can service a client as the shortest possible time. This is VMI. Okay. So once you do that, you have a better control on inventory, and you monitor the supplier inventory. So what you can do is you can also ask supplier to send regular reports to you, or you can ask supplier to share his inventory system, what he's following. He can give you rights for that also. So a lot of companies do that. So like I'll give you the example wherein customer sales, they are sharing with the suppliers so that the supplier can prepare the back orders for the amount of sale which is happening or the quantity of sale which is happening, and then they release the order every week for that quantity and then give it to you. But at least they are saving 6 days time. By the time 6th day the order is coming, before that supplier is getting prepared for that. Does it make sense? Are you clear?
Sir, can I say you one example what I understand? If I'm wrong, can you correct me?
Yeah.
Sir, when suppliers deliver the material, then in warehouse the GR and GDI make, right? So what the supplier do? They give one sheet of detail how many roll they are giving and all. So that saves the time of the warehouse people also. Okay, this things is coming. They give this sheet through mail so that they will prepare the space and everything according to what is coming in their doorstep, right? So is this something monitoring the from the vendor point of view, or is that what you're trying to say?
What you are saying is kind of something which is dispatched from a supplier place, and it is still to arrive at a customer place, and then you are giving a list of items which are coming on the way, and then you are trying to make a space in the warehouse. That's what you're trying. So this is
the
something
GR and
else.
GDI things, yeah.
This is much beyond that. It is something that you are sharing, you are telling vendor to maintain the inventory of certain things. So like, for example, I gave you example of gray fabric. If you have a gray fabric, and if you don't want to hold an inventory, but your supplier keeps making that inventory again in your supplier is a regular supplier for that. So you tell them that I will buy 1 lakh meter from you in this month, but I am not placing an order to you, but you keep that inventory with you. Moment you place an order, you dispatch it immediately.
Okay, I got it. Yeah, sir. Yeah.
You're getting it. So a lot of
Yeah.
what is the advantage in that is that you don't have to, you are not incurring a cost of holding that inventory. That is the biggest advantage, and a lot of people do that because even see what supplier needs the assurance from you that you will buy it. But on the other hand, it is like you don't have to incur a cost of holding an inventory.
True.
Yeah, so this is quite popular, and it is important if your supplier relationship is such that you can tell them इसको बना के रखो और मैं आपसे ले लूंगा, then I think it works really well. Okay, I think I'm coming almost close to the end now. Collaborative inventory management is basically collaborative is supplier, manufacturer, and distributor. So what happens like in a value chain, so all three of them actually share the information about their inventory stock. And in that way, if any stock is going down, for example, a distributor stock is going down, immediately manufacturer comes to know that he needs to make another 100 pieces. And when manufacturer places an cuts the PO for so work order for internal manufacturing, immediately supplier comes to know that he need to supply so many quantity as a backup. Is that clear?
Yeah, sir.
So this doesn't happen much in India, but I had seen a lot of customers do that with us. So international trade, a lot of people do it in this way. But you need a proper IT infrastructure for this. That is the backbone for that, and you need to share that IT infrastructure in terms of passwords and user, so that each three of them can actually see the inventory holding in different with different supplier. The distributor can see the manufacturer inventory, manufacturer can see the supplier inventory, and likewise other way, vice versa also. Is this clear now?
Yes, sir.
So that is also true for VMI also?
VMI is basically what is happening is vendor is managing the inventory. So in this case, collaborative is vendor में क्या होता है, आप उसको लॉन्ग टर्म कमिटमेंट दे सकते हो, मैं 1 लाख मीटर मेरे लिए बना के रखो. और इस वाले केस में क्या होता है, आपको उसको खाली उसको कोई ऑर्डर प्लेस नहीं किया, वो इट्स अ काइंड ऑफ ही कैन सी योर सिस्टम and then immediately start processing it. So he knows that after 4 days, automatic PO will come to him and he has to deliver.
Okay.
Are you clear?
Yes.
So BMI is more of like you tell somebody that you make it, keep it with you. Moment I place order, you give it to me. And this is something they know what is happening real time.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. There is further one more step ahead of that is CPRF. It's a collaborative planning, forecasting, and replenishment. It's like IKEA who does it, and with their suppliers, and also many other suppliers are trying to do it. IKEA does it fantastically. That the retailer, the wholesaler, in their case, wholesaler is not there. The manufacturer work together from one plan, one forecast, and one system. So IKEA knows how much. See, we know as a manufacturer, we would know that how much is their sales. They would know how much is my stock, and they would also know what is the forecast going to be before they place the order. And all of them are working on one system. Means when I dispatch it, I will have to dispatch in IKEA system that I have dispatched it. So the moment I do that, he knows that this much inventory is coming to me. Similarly, IKEA, when their sales happen, the moment the sales happen, manufacturer comes to know this much sales has happened. This order will immediately come in because they have a regular interval of placing an order. For example, IKEA place order every week to their manufacturers. And when you, and every, I think Friday or Saturday is the day normally they fix it. And then that is the day when they place the order. But before that, you know that order has been placed and it is order is going to be of this much quantity because that much sale has happened, and you can plan it in a more collaborative way. In this case, like the planning system is common in all the cases. It is a common system that they all of them are using. Is that clear? So maybe little confusion on this part and that part. So this is more of a different systems but collaborative approach. This is a same system and collaborative planning and forecasting and replenishment. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
I think I think this is it for today. I tried to complete it in. I'm 7 minutes late. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and
Yeah, thank you.
something has gone into your head. You will implement that into the when you go back to the industry. You will implement that into the thing. And if you need any kind of a clarity or any help, reach out to me or your faculty. They will be able to help you to understand what we spoke about all things. Ma'am, I have done, and I think any feedback, like students, if you would like to give any feedback, how was it? Yeah, Priyanshi?
Yeah, the session was wonderful, sir, and complete, and sorry to join late, sir. And I really enjoyed the session, sir, and I get feel it is really insightful for me, sir.
Good, good. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir.
बाकी लोग भी बोल सकते हैं.
Yeah, thank you, sir. It's very informative information. Something we read in the classes in college, but it missed out somewhere. But it's a great reminder for some extent. Yeah, thank you, sir.
So I hope my examples helped you to understand a little deeper on that. That is, I tried to connect examples with the industry examples so that at least you should understand the concept well. That was the idea.
Yeah, sir.
Okay. Great having you guys with me, and I really enjoyed. And I would love if I can meet in person with you guys so that I can interact better with you. Anyway, I think
surely, sir. Yeah, in future we hopes that we should have the session in person also. And so thank you very much for sharing your knowledge related to the in detail. And I think this understanding will help students because I think many of them are in a very near future going to do their internship. So they will take it in a very practical way, and they must have been sensitized with this understanding that that we just no need to go by one or the production data only, but there are so many different aspects in the manufacturing that we need to look at it, and one of which is related to our raw material or the inventory cost. And the way it has been explained and what is the importance of the one or the other aspects related to it, I hope it would be really very helpful to them in the understanding the things also in the coming future when they would be joining their internship also. And also I think they will try to do something related to that, and try to use also this particular understanding also when they are there in the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I can assure you that if they use it in a right way in the industry and study it well before implementing it, they will be definitely getting results out of it. I can tell them that.
Yes,
people,
sir.
People are not using these things. All these things are available in any books, but people are not implementing that. If you guys go into the industry and you are able to solve the inventory issue getting the money back to them in the books, I think it will help them. It will be a great help to the industry.
Yes, sir. And particularly, let's students like when we were interacting on the topic for a session, it was sir's advice that we should start with it, and you can now understand that no, with his all these years of experience on a core production, right? But still, then he chose this one particular area to be discussed, and if we are working in that direction, how impactful it can be in the overall survival of the industry.
No,
Right,
it is
sir?
money. It is money, I can tell you. See, at the moment, industry, any costing you pick up, people in a domestic market may be able to make 10%, 15%. Export market, even that kind of a margins are not there. And and
Yes.
and if you see the leftover after the shipment is gone or you have serviced the order, you will realize that even those 5, 7, 10% is actually sitting in your inventory. So you actually don't have any profit in your order. That's
Yes,
a, that's
because yeah, because if it's an export order, they can't even do the selling to any other people also, like officially. So those are all kind of ideal um, inventory which is lying there in the godown or the
nowadays, ma'am,
warehouse.
what has happened is in export order, customer allows them to use in a different market. So they say that if you are using, say, if it is a print and if it is a customer print, you can always ask them whether I can use it in domestic market or I can use it after 3 months or so. I can hold that inventory for you if you want to place a repeat order. Otherwise, can I use it in domestic market because I'm going to make a loss if I don't do that. So a lot of people are becoming flexible in this, and it is a part of your contract that you sign with the client and or a customer before. Like you should be clear to them that I may not make money out of it because my margin is 5% and my inventory will be 10% after the order is gone.
Yes, true, sir.
It is. So I think they are also practical, and we should be upfront and open to them. That is important. That this is a problem we are facing at the moment,
Yeah, that is also true.
right?
Yes, sir. With this, I would like to thank on behalf of department for sharing your knowledge with the students, and hope in future we in this continuation or with some important aspects related to industry, we should have a few more sessions on it. Okay.
Sure,
Thank
ma'am.
you very
Anytime.
much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you
And
all
I
the
hope
students.
everybody, you guys will do well, get motivated, charged up. So you very soon you will be there in the industry, and I want you to be rocking in the industry. Okay.
Fine. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, and good night to all.
Good
See
night.
you soon. See you.
Bye. Good night.
Bye. So.
Bye.